What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Jasmine J, and we are back with another episode of CCGo. And this particular episode, I'm super excited about because I love to just learn more and more about this industry. But today, on today's episode, we have Khary Alexcee. How are you feeling today?
Feeling good. Like I said, I'm always feeling good. So
No, that's right.
yeah, super excited to be here.
Yes.
It's my first time in this space. Amazing space that you have.
Thank you.
Making me proud, making the city proud.
Yes, thank you. I received that. So before we get into all the things, let's just talk about who you are. Let us know from your perspective, who is Khary?
Yeah, so the things I always want people to know is, one, I'm a very creative person naturally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very into business as well.
Yes.
Very into technology as well.
Yes.
And I'm really big on growing the community. I'm a father. I have two girls. Own one of Houston's largest film studios. Also have a creative agency. We've been doing it for about 13 years now.
Yes.
Doing a lot of content for brands, businesses, even other agencies. And really it's been great to watch, the development of the Houston creative scene over the years. And I think we have a lot of talent.
Definitely.
And we just really need to provide that infrastructure to local creatives to do whatever they want to do and not feel like they need to go elsewhere.
Yes.
To do what they want.
Look, cultivators, I know y'all heard that before about building the infrastructure for the creative people down here in Houston. That's definitely something that's needed. And I have so many questions, but just your experience, how did you get here? Like, when did your creativity start?
Yeah, I think as everybody's creativity, it starts like in school. Mm-hmm. Really, when you're bored in school and you're doodling it on paper, and then you look up and you didn't learn anything, but you made some
great art,
Yeah. And then really just taking it from there. I think for myself, been blessed for a lot of support behind what I'm doing over the years. Mm-hmm. But really, when it became serious in the business is when I met my business partner. I was doing software development, really for oil and gas. I met him. He was already flying. His name is Justin Bowers.
Shout out to Justin.
And I was programming drones. He was flying drones. We really, hit it off. I was showing him a few things. He was showing me a few things. He was showing me what we could do with like Google 360 virtual tours and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like I said, I'm already into technology.
Yeah.
Started doing that for a lot of small businesses, saying, hey, we could do photos and videos for you as well. And really saw that, I'm not just capturing a moment. I'm not just telling a story, but I'm actually improving people's businesses,
yes,
improving people's lives through improving their business, and actually making a difference. I'm not selling snake oil. This creativity, I'm allowed to express myself, and then it's also adding value to others as well.
So I heard you say it all became a business and got serious when you met your business partner. What was that experience like? Because I know I speak to a lot of founders and CEOs, and a lot of people are fearful to, collaborate at that level or to actually go into a full business with someone. So what's been that experience for you?
I mean, it was very organic. It wasn't forced. I think sometimes people force a partnership. Mm-hmm. I always like to compare business to like, dating relationships. Mm-hmm. It just kind of, it was very fluid. We never felt like we were trying to make something work that shouldn't work.
Right.
We felt like we were complementary to what each other needed and offered, and really grew organically. So
let's dig into it. Talent versus successful creative business. Because even with me trying to build what I'm building here at CCN, I always talk about sometimes it's a struggle because as a business, you have to implement structure, mm-hmm, processes, systems, all of those things. But then we work in a creative world. So people like the freedom to be creative. So how do you, from your perspective, how do you see talent versus building an actual successful creative business?
Yeah, well, first you need to have those systems, those processes.
Yes.
You need to build an actual business out of it. Now, in the space that we're in, your talent is what is going to take you to the next level.
Right.
In both ways, you need to have both. To answer the question, you need to have both.
Right.
One end, you need the talent to actually service the clients, yes, and be able to grow. But also you need the systems and processes so it doesn't all fall apart.
Right.
And so, you have to have both.
Hardest part of becoming an entrepreneur so far?
I think the hardest part of being an entrepreneur is having the ability to really delay gratification.
Yes. Talk about it.
Yeah, a lot of people see maybe business owners and entrepreneurs that's been in it 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
and see maybe the lifestyle they're living and the freedom that they have, but they don't look at the time that they put in to get there. So I would say really sticking to your vision, understanding what you want, and not getting deterred just because you're not finding that success as fast as you think you should.
Absolutely. On some of the interviews I've been doing this week, that's all we've been talking about is like, you got to keep putting in that work. Even if you don't see those results right away, you got to keep putting in the work, and then it'll all come to. So what have you had to learn outside of production to be successful in your current business?
Yeah, I actually want to go back to the other question in entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And I think if you're running a larger business with multiple employees and multiple personalities and people, especially in the talent and creative space,
Yes.
then you need to learn how to deal with people. I would say
Definitely.
that is one of the hardest challenges, dealing with people's personalities, and learning how to navigate that, because that's something that people don't think about.
That's that's so true and very difficult. One thing that I'm very grateful, before I got into the creative space, I worked for a nonprofit, and I held several positions in administration, but one of them was HR. So I had the experience of interviewing people, having to, just navigate people's different things that they were going through, terminate people, just different personalities, and that's really helped me. So what has happened in your prior career that's kind of helped you for the entrepreneurship journey now?
I think actually that's a good point. Good question. Actually being in a kind of corporate structured job has helped me, because I see how they handle certain things, handle certain processes. And whenever you go out on your entrepreneur journey, you kind of want to get away from that as far as possible.
Yes.
But then when you actually start running your business, you see why they had those things in place.
Definitely.
And so I would say that has helped me the most. Like, hey, this structure was there for a reason. They just weren't doing it just because they think they should be doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%, the structure. So back to the question that I asked you about, what have you had to learn outside of production just to be successful in what you're doing now?
Everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Production is cool. A lot of people are great at production. There's a lot of talented people, but to scale and grow your business,
It's a whole nother thing.
it's a whole nother thing. You need to learn about paying your taxes.
Yep.
You need to learn about, payroll.
Yep.
You need to learn about, accounts payable, accounts receivable. You need to learn about, like I said, how to deal with people, how to manage talent. And I'm telling you, creatives, they always going to think that their idea is the best.
Yes.
And they're always going to feel a certain way when they pitch something and doesn't get chosen, or maybe someone else gets chosen.
Yes.
I would say athletes and creatives, if you know how to manage athletes and creatives, you're gonna excel in life. You have
Definitely.
a special skill.
Do anything.
Yeah, because people they're performing.
Right.
It's their talent
Right.
that is being perceived by somebody. So they're a little bit closer to that. And if you're able to navigate that and manage that, I think that's one of the best skills that you can learn.
I agree 100%. 100%. I like how you compared it to an athlete, because it is their talent. Like, they're very serious about their art. And I've went through different experiences like that. And I've had to learn, like, yes, I respect your art. I respect what you're bringing to the table. I like this idea. However, these are a few things that we need to do to make it what it needs to be for our customer, or for us to scale, or whatever the case may be. So I'm 100% down with that. So let's talk about content. We were kind of talking about that right before we got on camera. So I see you've been making a lot of content, really trying to be consistent with it. So what's behind all of that?
I mean, I think, and I tell this to everybody, one, if you're trying to grow your business, you need to be, that's the easiest way, most accessible way to grow your business is through content. And I'm not just saying that because we make content. I mean, the facts and the data is there.
Right.
People have changed their lives by just being consistent and actually putting out content.
Definitely.
And I mean, hey, I'm preaching to people that you need to hire me to make your content, but I'm not making content myself.
Yes.
And I'm obviously don't see the value in it.
Right.
So I want to definitely practice what I preach. And then, I want to elevate and scale my business as well through content.
Is posting content, is that a part of building your own personal brand as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everybody should be building their personal brand.
I agree.
Especially with AI coming, where there's going to be like AI personal brands out there where you don't even know if this person is
a real person. Yep.
So the time is now to build your personal brand before it's too late and people are in a whole nother arena. But what's going to happen also is live experiences and
Yes.
live events.
Yes.
And that's going to be big too. So you want to be a person that is called upon when there is a live event or they need a panelist or something around that.
Definitely. I'm gonna give y'all time, cultivators, to go pause the video and go get your notebook and come back because he's dropping so many gems. All right. So what does content at scale mean?
I think content at scale is like actually developing systems around getting your
Yes.
content. It's one thing to get one video at a time, a video here, a video there. That's not actually going to move the needle.
Right.
You need to know how. You need to have metrics. You need to have goals about how frequent you're going to drop content, and then you need to make it easy to create that as well.
Definitely. That's why I always talk about when I speak about CCN, I talk about it being a ecosystem, because at the end of the day, that's what the core of it is that we have a system, we have processes that's very easy to duplicate when it's creating content, whether it's long form, short form. It's like, we're going to help you put your story out there in the best way, but we have these processes, and that's what makes it easy to be consistent, because if you're not consistent in content, then what are you even doing it for?
Yeah, and for all creators out there, you shouldn't be going to your client and be like, well, how many videos do you want?
You should be telling them.
You should be telling them like,
Yep.
hey, this is what I offer. This is how many videos we're gonna create, and this is how we're gonna go about it too.
Yes.
Is this something you could commit to?
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. Having like that onboarding process with your client and letting them know the process, so that, of course, they're going to have questions. Of course, it's an experience for them, but giving them as much information in the beginning, that helps you as the creative. Like you say, letting them know ahead of time, this is how many videos you're going to get. This is the expected deliverable time. This is when we're going to post. Like, just giving them as much information as possible.
Absolutely.
All right. Studio. Is it more than equipment, or how do you view studios? Because I'm hearing a lot about saying that studios aren't even needed anymore, that people are going to be able to make all the content from their iPhones and they won't need studios. So how do you view studio?
Yeah, I mean, I think there definitely needs to be a place that has the infrastructure to make the content that you need to create, especially for larger brands.
Yes.
I mean, if you're just trying to build your personal brand, yeah, you probably don't need to rent out a studio.
Right.
But still, if you're building your personal brand, you need it to be easy for you. And if you don't already, know what you're doing, have the right setup, then again, you're not going to be able to develop that content at scale.
Definitely.
You want to be able to, you made it very easy for me today. I came in, you had a nice green room,
Yeah.
for me to do my little mirror videos and stuff like that. I came in, sat on the couch, and we got started.
Yeah.
I didn't have to think of, okay, I need to have my camera here. Where's the best lighting? Things like that. For a studio, it's really just accessibility.
Yes.
It elevates your content. It puts you on a professional level. And I think of it like people even think that they can make videos using AI very easily. But what I found is people are like, yeah, I want my video to look like this through AI, but I can't quite get it right. So
Right.
you need to lean on the professionals
Yep.
to get your content right.
And also, I want to add to that, just about studio space, is also the atmosphere that's created in the studio space. I've had a lot of people come here and they're like, I really could create this content at home, but I want to be around other creators, or I want to be in a certain type of creative energy to be able to produce the content at that level. And especially brands, of course, larger brands, they want do it for me service. Like, I just want to come in, I just want to be the talking head, and then walk out and get all my content.
Yeah. Yeah.
So creating space for other creatives. So as a person, because I'm the same in this sense, I'm a creative. However, my focus is creating the infrastructure for other creatives. How does that feel, being able to do something like that? Do you feel like you're like putting yourself on the back burner, or do you feel like this is like a gift, and that what you're creating will not only help you but others as well?
Yeah, that's a good question, because, and I'll give you a little background and context of why we even opened up our film studio in the first place.
Okay.
Going through having a production company, especially in Houston, we grew and grew and grew, started working with larger brands, and we found that some of the needs and some of the requirements that they have as far as the production, we just couldn't quite do it in some of the spaces that already existed. Now, I love the spaces that are in Houston. I'm friends with a lot of people, but sometimes it was the space, the sheer size, some of the technology that we had access to, some of the equipment that we had access to just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, we need to go build this ourselves. And that takes a lot, especially having a 15,000 square foot space.
Yes.
Rent's not cheap.
No.
The overhead's not cheap at all. I've had to take out personally guarantee a lot of things.
Yes.
So it's a lot of stress on myself and my business partner and in the business.
Right.
To make sure that there is a space out there, not just for us, but for other people as well. There is a lot of sacrifice.
Definitely. And I saw a video that you made, I think, speaking about some of the things you had to personally do. And I related so much to that video. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. Well, maybe we are crazy, but I'm crazy with everyone else. Because it's just like what you have to put on yourself as the person that's creating and building this for other people. It is a lot of sacrifices that you have to make. But at what point do you feel like it's worth it?
Yeah. Well, first, if we don't do it, who's going to do it? And then we'll just be sitting there complaining like, well, I wish Houston had this. I wish Houston had that. And I'm not that type of person. I'm like, look, we can sit here and bitch and complain. Can we cuss on?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. We can sit here and bitch and complain about what we don't have.
Right.
Or we can get up and make something and go get it.
Yeah.
Say we fail. We're not going to fail. We're going to make it out here.
Right.
But say we fail. At least I didn't just sit there and complain. I actually did something and I can live with that.
Yes.
Other than, 10 years down the line, like, man, I really should have actually did what I wanted to do and try to make a difference.
Definitely, definitely. So the creative life. Why do talented creatives struggle financially? What's your opinion on that?
I think when you're starting something from scratch,
right?
When you're starting your business, everybody struggles financially, unless you just have a silver spoon and
it's all lined out for you.
It's all lined out for you. If you're trying to open up a restaurant, if you're trying to do any type of new business, you're going to struggle.
Yes.
So I don't want creatives to think that it's just their space. But through that struggle, you can either learn the hard way, like I did.
Yeah.
Where you're making mistakes on the way, very costly mistakes. Or what I would always suggest somebody to do is reach out to somebody that has made those mistakes and try to learn from them. So you don't have to make those same mistakes and as costly mistakes.
All right. You're giving so much game. Scaling without losing creativity. Now, that's a big one because, like I talked about earlier, just the balance of it all. So what's your opinion on that?
I think there's certain things that you could do. One, you could set boundaries. Because if you don't set boundaries, especially with your clients, they're going to cross those boundaries and now you're working and developing something that you don't want to do.
Right.
I think just like anything, when you get into a relationship or business with somebody, you could say like, hey, this is the way I would like to do it. And if that's not okay with you, then we don't have to work together. But I want to put that out right now.
Right.
And believe it or not, people actually respect that more.
Way more.
And would actually probably prefer to work with you after. Sometimes they go with that person that didn't
yeah, then they got to come back.
And then they come back, end up paying you that money, and you're able to do it the right way.
Right.
But I would say set boundaries and let people know what the expectation is. And you're not for everybody.
Yes.
But the people that do see your value, that's where you're going to start doing the creative spots that you work and still grow and scale.
Grow. Absolutely. Absolutely. So in your opinion, what does freedom look like for a creative?
I think even following up on what we just said, I think freedom for a creative looks like working on the projects that they want to work on and how they want to work on it. There's plenty of people that you think that brands come to Pharrell and tell Pharrell like, oh no, this is how you're going to do it. No, Pharrell's like, oh, you want to work with me?
Right.
This is how I'm going to do it. And he has freedom. And that's what freedom looks like as a creative. Okay.
All right. So before we close out this interview, I just want to, I'm really big on the youth, especially in this particular industry. Like we have summer camps. We do so much for youth programs because I want to teach them what we're doing every day because this is the future for them. What's your take on how the creative world affects the youth and what's your advice to them?
Yeah, I think let me actually think about this question. How does the creative world affect the youth? I think it's not as straightforward as it used to be. There's so many different avenues, so many different things that you can get into between whether it's streaming, being a creator, making film, long form film. There's just so many different outlets that you can really get into with technology. So I think really exploring all those things, actually being introduced to a lot of those things is the first way to really find out how you can get into the space and what fits for you. Yes. And then also not being scared of change. Because believe it or not, a lot of the youth are so anti AI. And I'm not telling you like you should. I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh yeah, you should really get into AI or you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
There might be some truth in that.
Right.
But I would say don't close yourself off to stuff.
Yes.
And I think that's, I don't know how it necessarily affects them, but that's how you can maybe be effective in a creative space.
That was great way to answer that. So that's to our youth, but even our young adults, because I know you have y'all have an internship program. Yeah. So how does that work? How do you feel like in your internship program? What is that like for the young adults? What are they getting out of it, and how do you feel like it's really impacting them?
Yeah. Well, I think it's an opportunity to see how things are being operated at a high level.
Yep.
I'm never going to like diss college or higher education, but there's only so much that can be offered through some of those institutional, programs.
Right.
So actually getting into someone that's doing it on a professional level, I mean, things move so fast. And
yes.
We have to pivot so quickly that seeing how things are really operating in real time is a great way to learn.
Yes.
A lot of times internships, even if it's unpaid, I say, think about it. You go pay a university $60,000 a year to get this education. And when you might even get a little bit more from maybe a free unpaid internship, that's going to allow you to really excel, make the connections that you want to make out in the professional space that you want to be in. And shoot, if you're getting paid for it, even better.
Right. You really winning.
You winning.
You winning. Okay. So what's next? What's next with everything that you have going on? I know we talked a bit about the creative space, but tell us about some of the other industries that you're building businesses in.
Yeah, so I think right now just launched a new company called Origo 42.
Okay.
We're really big on making technology for the production space.
Okay.
Definitely using AI technology. We want creatives to do what they do best, which is be creative. A lot of times you got to send your invoices. You got to make your proposals,
do all the things
that has nothing to do with being a creative.
Right.
And imagine if a lot of that was quote unquote agentic.
Yep.
And it's taken care of for you.
Yep.
And you're really just more so having a conversation, and the creativity from your brain to actual execution is a lot quicker and smoother process.
Yes.
So we're developing software around that. Also integration. Opened up an integration company I was telling you before.
Yeah.
So went ahead, got our filed in the state of Texas, got our reseller's license. So basically we can take a lot of this technologies. I mean, if you want to buy a Sony camera, you got to go through a reseller. If you want to buy an LED wall, you got to go through a reseller. So really helping other creatives, institutions, and places build that infrastructure that we talk about. So also building out other studios here in Texas and all over the world.
Okay, that's amazing. So, what are some future opportunities that y'all may be offering to interns or just people in the community?
Yeah, I would say just if you watch this interview, if anything that I said sounds interesting to you and you want to learn more about, just reach out to me.
Okay, all right. Well, before we close out this interview, my last question to you is: what is your favorite thing about being a girl dad?
Oh man, it's that they love me so much. Whenever they see me, it's like daddy.
Super excited.
Super excited. It's like a love that you never really feel until you haven't experienced that.
Sure.
I only have girls, so I don't know what it's like to be a boy dad.
Yeah.
But I know they love their daddy.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on the show and us having this conversation. I definitely feel like there was a lot of gems dropped and a lot of people will benefit from this. So thank you again. But as y'all know, we always talk to founders, CEOs, and just innovators and change makers that's out here in the community doing amazing things. Khary, his co-founder, their whole team, they're doing amazing things here in Houston. So if you like conversations like this, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. And we will see y'all on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.